So what is cashback? Good or bad? So in the last video, I've shared about what is cashback generally, and you can check back the previous video if you haven't. In this video, right, I'm going to share with you the functions of the cashback and the pros and the cons, right, of the cashback. So for those that didn't know what is cashback, let me share with you again, right, a very simple concept. When you have your loan amount, right, gotten from the bank, is higher than the net price that you get, right? That difference would be your cashback. The positive difference would be your cashback. Pros number one, cashback can be used to ease house buyers' capital issue. So as we all know, in the normal circumstances, right, when the house buyer get a 90% loan, he or she will need to pay that extra 10% down payment to the developer. Right, but nowadays a lot of house buyers, or I would say millennials, right, Generation Z, they are facing financial issues, whereby they have low savings and high commitments or minimal cash to pay the down payment. And buying a house requires a lot of costs as well, such as renovation, legal fees, etc. So this all adds up to a substantial amount. And with rebates, with the cashback, house buyers can basically buy with zero down payment and minimal capital. And with cashback, it is much easier for them to own a house with less burden on their cash flow and financial position. In other way, it somehow increase home ownership because it reducing the initial capital to buy a house compared to the older days, especially for first house buyer. It definitely helps a lot. And with cashback, we have also extra cash withstand the harsh economic downturn. And especially for investment, when there's no tenant at all to help you to cover the installment, right? Cashback definitely helps you with that. Or to at least help you to hold another few more months, right? Until the economy recovers. It can help to improve people's extra savings with the lowest possible interest rate. So when there's no tenants at all, at least you have this cash to still pay the installment to the banks. And sometimes can be used also as an emergency fund. So pros number two is you can use cashback to settle bad debt. So what I mean with bad debt is, those commitments that are charged with high interest rate, such as credit cards, roughly 18%, right? Personal loan, 12% interest rate. When you have the extra cashback, you can use them to actually improve, or we say consolidate your debt position, whereby you use the cashback to settle off loans with high interest rates. As mentioned, credit cards, loans, personal loans, right? With the lowest possible interest rate, because cashback is charged based on the mortgage loan, right? Or we call it a housing loan, with roughly 3% of interest rate as of today, right? In third quarter of 2021, it is much more feasible to use this cash, or we say loan, with the lowest interest rate possible to help you to offset the other loans first. Offset those loans with very high interest rates that will keep on piling up until you got extra financial capability to settle all those stuff. So cons number one is that it will somehow affect the pricing stability in the market, right? Because banks would definitely want to know how much rebates and discounts that developers are giving, right? As per Bank Negara Malaysia's guideline, commercial banks can only give loans based on the net price after deducting all the freebies given by the developers. And as banks normally do not detect most of the rebates out there in the market, whether through formal way or informal ways, and if they somehow detect it, the end financing to the particular project, alright, will be slashed, or in common terms we call it slash margin. So what happened is the real house pricing would not be reflected in the SBA price. And since valuers commonly use comparison method that used to get a value of a particular property, right? They normally use those transacted properties in secondary market to prove a value for that particular property. So now imagine a case whereby you have property A, right, is being priced by developers at the SPA of 500,000, but you have 20% rebates. So that net price, or we call the real value of the project A, would be 400,000 after deducting the 20% of the 500,000 SPA price, right? And what happened is that when project A is launched 3 years already, right, almost completed, and you have new launching project B only just nearby, would have their price based on property A's SPA. And since a newer property would normally have a slightly higher margin or slightly expensive compared to the older one, then if property B is valued at 550,000, it seems to be logical, the price. But the real value of property A is actually only 400,000. Price of it is reflected into the next property to be launched. So build up the pricing much higher to the house buyers at the end, right? We have project A at this price, 400,000 net price, but it's marked up at 500,000. And project B is new launch, right? It's marked up at 550,000, but then you have same 20% rebates, so it's roughly 450,000. So with this extra pricing being marked up, this would be all passed to the subsequent new launches, right? And again, you repeat the whole process and you get a very high price margin, which seems to be unaffordable to the house buyers, right? So cons number 2 is that it somehow will increase bad debt of house buyers and affect their spending behavior, provided that they don't know how to use it, right? So this scenario will only happen when the house buyers got their cashback and they spend it like they won a lottery, and they don't have the financial literacy or the knowledge to know what to do with the cashback. So what I mean to use it correctly or to leverage it in a good way is that as long as you're not buying something or you're not using it to purchase or to finance something that won't give you a real value that will help your financial position, such as you are buying a new car, whereby you have a car already, or you can just use public transportation. With this kind of usage, it will definitely increase only your bad debt, and it proves that you are not leveraging it well with the cashback you got. So this will only gives you a bad financial position in the long run or in the medium term, because these are essentially a loan, right? Of course, with the lowest interest rate possible. So the better way to deal with it is that normally the cashback will be used to finance the property that you purchase, right? For those things you need to purchase, such as the renovation, right? To pay off the legal fees required. Because if you're looking for property investment, this can help you with your capital issue. And property can bring in positive cash flow, right, to you if you know how to buy and how to use it correctly. So here's a bonus. Cashback are mostly given with an agreement from the developers, right? In the terms they normally coin it as difference between loan and net price, which binds you into an agreement to receive the cash. But of course, cashback is definitely, personally for me, is better than GRR. And normally as a buyer, you'll receive it in different stages of construction. Normally upon stage 2A, stage 2B, or upon VP, etc., as per mentioned in the agreement by the developers. So in conclusion, number 1 is that cashback is essentially a product or difference or loan higher than your net price. If the loan lower than your net price, that difference, negative difference, would be the down payment. So if your loan is higher than your net price, that positive difference would be your cashback. Number 2 is that cashback would be very useless if you do not know how to leverage it or how to use it well, right? You don't use it to purchase things that will bring you extra cash flow or give you a better financial position, such as you're purchasing it for a new iPhone when you have a good phone to use. And in another way, it will be very useful if you know how to use it, especially in leveraging it in your property investment. You use it to finance your renovation costs, etc. to improve the cash flow that you gain from the property that you purchase with the cashback. Number 3 is that cashback will have lesser occurrence in property boom, alright, or in boom economic situation, but will occur more prevalently or commonly in economic downturn as of today. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. If you want to learn more about property,
please hit the like, share, and subscribe button and turn on notifications, and I'll see you in my next video.